Now that the House of Representatives has passed more changes to the laws around retirement planning, the question becomes, what does it mean for your retirement plan? Hi everyone, I'm David Scranton. On March 29th, the House of Representatives voted almost unanimously in favor of passing the Secure Act 2.0, which is an expansion of the original 2019 Secure Act. The new bill, which is expected to become law soon, includes provisions that affect everything from your 401k contributions to your required minimum distributions. And we'll tell you just how it affects these things on today's show. Specifically, we'll cover how the bill aims to help you save for retirement, how it aims to help once you're taking retirement income, and how it may affect income investors specifically. SECURE is actually an acronym, and it means setting every community up for retirement enhancement. The original act was signed into law in December of 2019, and it altered the existing rules around required minimum distributions, contributions to 401ks and traditional IRAs, use of so-called stretch IRAs, and 529 plans for students, just to name a few. It also made it easier for 401k plan administrators to offer income products. The Secure Act 2.0 expands on all these provisions, and it adds new ones. Many are aimed at encouraging more people to save for retirement, namely by taking full advantage of their employer-sponsored retirement plans. For example, the bill requires employers that offer 401ks or 403b plans to automatically enroll employees once they become eligible. Most importantly, for older workers, 2.0 also allows you to make larger catch-up contributions to your 401k or 403b. And if you're one of the millions of Americans caught between saving for retirement and paying off college debts, 2.0 aims to help by allowing your employer to make matching contributions to your student loan payments. Now, let's talk about some things in the bill that will affect you once it's time to start taking retirement income down the road. The biggest by far involves your RMDs, required minimum distributions. These are the mandatory withdrawals that the government forces you to start taking from your retirement accounts and therefore paying taxes on once you reach a certain age. Now, before the original Secure Act, the starting age for taking RMDs was 70 and a half. Currently it's 72, and once 2.0 becomes law, it'll increase to 73. Then it'll be raised to age 74 in the year 2029, and ultimately age 75 in the year 2032. Other key changes coming courtesy of Secure Act 2.0 include higher limits for qualified charitable distributions, the modification of 403b plans to make them even more like 401ks as opposed to the different one-off thing that they are today, and the elimination of existing barriers to offering lifetime income annuities as a retirement plan investment option. This last change expands on other provisions in the original Secure Act that address the liability concerns some employers had about offering income products, such as annuities, in these 401ks and in other plans. These new provisions also make income products portable between retirement plans and call for new disclosures about how your retirement savings might be different if you were invested in a lifetime income product. These types of legislative changes and others might be seen as Congress's way of making a point that I stress consistently. And that is, the key to a successful retirement can be summed up in one single word, and that's income. And I'd call that progress. But it's also important to remember that creating a comprehensive income strategy designed to help meet your retirement goals is not necessarily a simple task. It's a highly specialized area of financial planning, one that typically requires the knowledge of an income specialist. And that means a specialist who can help you create a strategy designed to overcome all of retirement's many challenges. What are some of these challenges? Well, they include longevity, and therefore the need to plan for up to 30 years or more of reliable retirement income. They also include inflation, and specifically healthcare inflation. It includes trying to maximize your Social Security, minimize your taxes, as well as satisfying your RMDs without spending down your principal. Also included are estate planning and the ability to leave your family a legacy without leaving them an enormous tax burden, and the ability to grow your portfolio strategically with a minimized risk, but with maximum returns in the form of income. The Secure Act 2.0 has strong bipartisan support, which means it's highly likely to be signed into law, possibly before summer. While the final version is likely to include some modifications, they're expected to be small. Although collectively, the Secure Acts together do create many new incentives and opportunities for hard-working Americans to save for retirement, let's face it, they don't and they can't address every challenge, and they certainly don't make the process a piece of cake. The responsibility of securing your own financial future is still ultimately up to you. To help us today with this ever so important topic is our special guest, Ed Slott. He's an author, public speaker, and television host, and has also been called the best source for IRA advice and America's IRA expert. Ed, as usual, it's my pleasure having you back here.
Yeah, great to be back with you. Things are changing all the time here in the retirement market, in Congress and IRS.
I know, no kidding. So speaking of that, what do you think? Do you think 2.0 is going to get through? Do you think it'll eventually pass?
Yeah, I think it will. If you remember, it came out of the House, the full House. And remember the context. In this age of polarization and partisan politics, this thing passed the full House 414 to 5. So that's saying something. Now,
Sure,
it still hasn't gone to the Senate, which it'll probably pass. The only thing that might derail it, obviously, all of Congress likes the term secure, even though it means anything but. I learned a long time ago studying tax law, whenever Congress names a tax law, and this has been true for almost 40 years, you can almost always bet that whatever name they give it, it will do exactly the opposite. So keep that in mind.
Love it.
And the first Secure Act actually passed by a margin of 417 to 3. So unless this is larded up with some other provisions that become controversial, there's no controversy here. It hasn't gone to the Senate, but it's expected to pass. And if anything, the big changes, which I don't know if they're necessarily great, but they sound good, and that's why Congress likes it, is pushing back the RMD, the required minimum distribution age, from where it is now to 72, in a weird way to 73, and then 10 years later to 74 and 75. 10 years later, half those people will be dead. So I don't see the benefit there.
And also, in your experience, do you find that most people by age 73 are already taking distributions from their IRA because they need it?
Well, there are a couple of benefits to this. Anytime they give people more freedom to do what they want for a longer time is probably pretty good. Personally, I think they should do away, just eliminate all RMDs completely. They're becoming a mess, a nuisance for seniors. Remember, you already have a 10-year rule. After somebody dies, all the funds have to come out 10 years after death. So I really don't see any need for RMDs because of the calculations, the different accounts. It gets complicated. And every time they change the age, it's more complicated, even though it sounds like a benefit. But if they keep moving up the age, then the tax that will have to be paid on this growing IRA or 401k will be bunched into a shorter window. So that means long term, you're probably paying more tax. Now that you asked a great question, according to the Treasury Department's own statistics, this would only benefit about 20% of the people. 80% of people subject to RMDs are already taking more than the minimum because they need the money. So telling somebody you don't have to take money till later if you need it doesn't help them. So it only helps the people who can have other resources and don't have to touch that IRA money. But even for those people, the longer they wait to start taking RMDs, the larger the account will have grown and the higher the tax bill will be, which will have to be paid either by them or their beneficiaries in a shorter window.
So Ed, if you had to rewrite the Secure Act, what kinds of things would you like to see in there that you think would be positive?
I think it'll never happen, but what I just told you, they should root and branch, rip out RMDs completely. There really is no need for them. Like we just said, 80% of the people take them voluntarily because they need the money. Let people take what they want. They earned it. They worked 30, 40 years to build this account. Let them take what they want. Most people will take what they want and probably more and pay the tax anyway. And if they don't, their beneficiaries will have to pay it within 10 years after death in most cases. So I don't really see the need. There's an end game anyway. I think they keep putting band-aids on this, pushing the age back, making other adjustments, which just complicates the lives of people. And also, by the way, we have new life expectancy tables you have to use starting this year. Adds another wrinkle of complexity. So anytime you can make things simpler for people to just get at their retirement savings, people who will pay the tax, it's not about avoiding the tax, it's about simplification. Congress usually likes simplification. So since all of Congress, I know, Dave, watches your show, here's my advice to you. Slip in what I just told you, and every congressman who signs this will be the hero for life for over up the tens of millions of people who have saved for retirement, and all they do is worry about RMDs and calculations and penalties and how old am I?
Sure. I think it's funny because one of the things that's in the Secure Act, though, is this thing to make it easier to put annuities and make them portable in a retirement plan. And obviously the genesis of that is that they're concerned about whether or not retirees have enough income. They know that, the fate of Social Security is questionable and they haven't done anything about it. But how are they going to do this? How are they going to make it so that qualified plans, 401ks, can have annuities in them and they can be portable so that people can get a guaranteed lifetime income stream? Have you read anything about that yet? Because I haven't seen the logistics.
No, the idea is good and it's already in the Secure Act. The problem is big company plans, they're like old battleships. They take a long time to make a turn. Change, and they're always worried about being sued. Some employee turns their 401k into an annuity and maybe it doesn't return the way they thought. They don't want to be on the hook for that stuff. But the idea of having annuities, which, as you said, Social Security is essentially an annuity, and people love that. I think people are better off in their own IRAs or even Roth IRAs and having the guaranteed income products there, the annuities there, where they could customize it with their own financial advisor and get exactly the plan that works best for them, rather than from a menu of limited choices offered by their 401k, if they offer them at all.
Sure. Guaranteed income, and who doesn't like guaranteed income, right? So final topic, away from the Secure Act. Congress, I cannot believe, if you asked me 10 years ago if Congress would have acted by now to do something to shore up Social Security, I would have said yes. But yet they keep kicking the can down the road. When are they going to stop, and how are they going to fix the problem?
They're not going to fix the problem. Eventually, younger people will be affected. You always hear people say touching Social Security is the third rail of politics. They don't want to touch it. It affects too many people that do one thing really well: vote.
Yeah, well, I hope you're wrong. I hope that they do something to fix it. But right now, it looks like you're right. They're just kicking the can down the road, and ultimately, it'll mean a decrease in benefits, as you know, of at least 20 or 25% for younger folks. So, Ed Slott, as usual, our pleasure. Thank you so much for being with us on the Income Generation.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching today's video, Secure Act 2.0 update. If you enjoyed it, click a thumbs up button to give us a like, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for new content each and every week.